Hi, welcome back to Miss Neerman Reads. Today we're going to be reading chapter 4 of One Day in Horrorland. Here we go. I cried out and pulled Luke and Clay back. The wolf slithered out, holding its head low, glaring up at us with wide red eyes, its mouth open hungrily. It's real, Clay declared, swallowing hard. I had my hand on his shoulder, and I could feel him trembling. The wolf let out a deep growl. Then it slid back behind the cottage wall. I think it's some kind of robot or something, I told Clay. Let's go somewhere else, Clay replied, suddenly very pale. What does that sign up there say? Luke asked. He went running over the dark cobblestones to the sign, and Clay and I followed. The sign read, "No pinching." Luke laughed. That's stupid. What a dumb sign, Clay agreed. That sign was meant just for you, Luke, I exclaimed. I gave him a hard pinch on the arm. Hey, can't you read? He shouted angrily, pointing to the sign. I saw a green horror watching us from down the street. Then I saw a family making its way behind the row of cottages. The girl was crying with her mother and her father. The parents had their hands on her shoulders and looked very upset. A wolf howl cut through the air. Let's find some rides, Clay suggested. Some scary rides, Luke added. Walking side by side, keeping close together, we made our way out of the werewolf village. The street widened into a round plaza. Bright sunlight returned as soon as we stepped out of the village. Several purple and green buildings surrounded the plaza, and I saw a few more families and several green costumed horrors keeping an eye on everything. A pudgy horror behind a purple and green cart was selling ice cream cones. Thick black ice cream. Yuck, Luke declared, making a face. We hurried past the cart, past another no pinching sign, and stopped in front of what appeared to be a tall purple mountain. It's a ride, I told them. A doorway was cut into the side of the mountain, and above the doorway was a sign. Doom slide. Will you be the one to slide forever? Cool, Luke cried, slapping Clay a high five. I'll bet you climb to the top, then slide all the way down, I said, pointing to the top of the mountain-shaped building. Let's go, Luke cried excitedly. We ran to the building, then through the open doorway in its side. It was dark and cold inside. A wide ramp curved up toward the top. I could hear kids squealing and laughing, but I couldn't see them. The three of us half walked, half ran up the ramp, eager to get to the top. About halfway up, we stopped to read another sign. This one said, "Warning. You may be the one to slide to your doom." Now I could hear kids screaming as they slid down, but it was too dark to see anything. Are you scared, Clay? I asked, noticing his tight expression. No way, he insisted, embarrassed by my question. I've seen these things before. They're just like huge sliding boards. You just sit on them and slide down. Hurry, Luke shouted, running ahead of us. Hey, wait up, I called. I followed them to the top of the ramp. We found ourselves on a wide platform. A row of long, curving sliding boards stretched to the end of the platform. The sliding boards were numbered from 1 to 10. In the dim light, I saw two horrors watching us approach. They stood in front of the sliding boards, their bulging yellow eyes lit up as we hurried over to them. Do you slide all the way down? Luke asked one of them. The horror nodded. Do you go really fast? Clay asked, lingering a few feet behind us. The horror nodded again. It's a long way down, he rumbled. Be careful which slide you pick, the other warned. Don't pick the doom slide. He gestured to the number painted in black in front of each slide. Yes, don't pick the doom slide. his partner repeated. You'll slide down forever and ever and ever. I laughed. He was just trying to scare us, wasn't he? That's the end of chapter 4. I love how these chapters end. But because I'm feeling nice, I'll go ahead and include chapter 5 in this reading. Here we go, chapter 5. I chose slide number 3 because 3 is my lucky number. Luke sat down on top of the slide next to mine, slide number 2, and Clay scrambled over to the far end and dropped down onto slide number 10. I glanced back to see what the horrors were doing, but before I could focus on them, I felt the bottom tilt underneath me. I let a long, high-pitched shriek as I began to slide. I raised my arms over my head, leaned back, and screamed all the way down. My cries echoed in the enormous dark canyon of the doomslide building. It felt great. The slide curved, and I swirled down in the darkness faster and faster. In the shadowy light, I could see Luke in the slide next to mine. He was lying on his back, staring straight up with his mouth hanging wide open. I tried to call out to him, but the slide curved away, and I curved with it. Down, down. I was sliding so fast, the darkness became a solid blur. The slide curved up, then around, then down again. I'm a human roller coaster, I thought. Down, down, darker and darker. I'm sliding faster than the speed of light. I glanced from one side to the other, trying to see Luke and Clay, but it was too dark, and I was moving too fast. Too fast. And then, bump, a chute opened up. I hit the ground hard, landing on the seat of my jeans. Outside. I was back outside. Bump. Luke bounced out beside me. He hit the ground, still lying on his back, and made no attempt to get up. He grinned up at me. Where am I? Back on the ground, I told him, climbing to my feet. I brushed off the back of my jeans, then reached behind my head to straighten my braid. Great ride, huh? Let's go again, Luke said, still lying there. We can't go again if you don't get up, I said. Help me. He reached up a hand. I groaned as I tugged him to a sitting position. Get up yourself, I said impatiently. You were screaming in there, he told me. I did it on purpose, I said. I wanted to scream. Yeah, sure, he rolled his eyes. Then he pulled himself to his feet. Wow, I'm a little dizzy. How fast do you think we were going? I shrugged. Pretty fast, I think. It's so dark in there. It's hard to know how fast you are going. And then I realized we were missing a member of our sliding party. I stared at the closed chutes on the wall of the building. Hey, where's Clay? Huh? Luke had forgotten about him too. We both stared at the side of the building, waiting for Clay to pop out. Where is he? Luke demanded shrilly. I couldn't be that much slower than us, could he? I shook my head. I was starting to feel really nervous. I had a feeling in the pit of my stomach, and my hands were suddenly cold and clammy. Come on, Clay, I pleaded, staring at the wall. Come on out. Luke scratched his black hair. Where'd he go? He asked. Why didn't Clay come out? Maybe he came out the front, I said. Maybe slide number 10 dumps you out in the front. Let's check it out. As we ran around the building toward the front, I scolded myself for getting scared so easily. Of course Clay came out a different chute. He was probably waiting for us in front of the building. He was probably worried about us. As we rounded the purple building, the wide circular plaza came into view. I searched for Mom and Dad, but they weren't there. I saw a couple of other families on the other side of the circle, and that pudgy green horror leaning on his ice cream cart. But no sign of Clay. Luke and I kept running up to the front entrance of the doom slide. We stopped a few feet from the dark opening. He isn't here, Luke cried, struggling to catch his breath. I was breathing hard too, and the heavy feeling of dread in my stomach grew even heavier. No Clay, I muttered. What are we going to do? Luke asked. His blue eyes were wide with fear. I saw a green horror woman standing inside the entrance. Hey, I called as I ran over to her. Did you see a kid come out of here? I asked breathlessly. The yellow eyes on the horror's mask bulged and appeared to light up. No, this is not the entrance. Excuse me. This is the entrance. No one comes out here, she replied. He's blonde, sort of chubby. He wears glasses, I told her. He's wearing a blue t-shirt and denim shorts. The horror shook her head. No, no one comes out this way. Did you check the back? Everyone comes out the back. He didn't, Luke said. We were there. He didn't come out. My brother's voice was high and squeaky. He was breathing so hard his chest was heaving up and down. He was in a panic. I was frightened too, but I knew I had to stay calm for Luke's sake. He didn't come out the back, I told the horror, and he didn't come out the front. So what happened to him? The horror was silent for a long moment. Then she said in a low voice, just above a whisper, maybe your friend chose the doom slide. End of chapter 5. See you next time.